Is there any better feeling than being on transit, hurtling through the suburbs in the dead of night, just a little bit buzzed after a night out in the market and catching the bus home? Wait a sec. The bus? Yeah, the bus.
Buses glide past bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Currently, the transitway has about 3,500 riders per hour per direction.
In the late 1970s and early 1980s, following in the footsteps of cities like Pittsburgh, Runcorn, and Curitiba, Ottawa started building its own network of busways, and at the peak of its existence, it stretched 38 kilometers in length. But that's getting a little out of hand for the One-Line Wonders contest, and there's no way you can talk about the Transway without talking about Ottawa's most legendary bus route, Ottawa's Vomit Comet, the party bus, a one-seat ride from boonies to boonies with Parliament in between, the 95.
The transitway is a road that's built specifically for buses.
Buses first started getting signed 95 in 1980, but the 95 that we know, or knew, we'll get there soon, didn't take shape until the year 2000. The route started in the east at Trim Park and Ride, which was originally just a parking lot in the middle of a field, but as the new eastern terminus of the O-Train extension has been seeing some serious single-family home development. The 95 then hit the highway, using shoulder lanes on the 174 to bypass traffic. After serving what it called stations and I would charitably call bus shelters, the route got onto its own busway at Blair Station, which is coincidentally where the O-Train ends today. After serving Blair, the transitway dove into a trench, which was a fairly common style of transitway in more built-up areas. The trench then turned into a huge tunnel crossing under Highway 417, which led into what we now call Tremblay, but was at the time just called Train.
Train station. Via rail. Station Han. Via rail.
After flying over Riverside Drive on a transit bridge, it met with the Southeast Transitway at the biggest station on the network, Herdman, which was and still is seriously impressive. And loud. Shortly before Lee's station, the route crossed the Ottawa River, which is not the canal, on a fancy transit-only bridge, then running concurrently with Nicholas Street into the downtown core before you end up screeching to a halt on the surface streets. Yep, the transitway was suffering from success, or bus crowding. Anyone who's taken a bus to downtown Ottawa before the O-Train knows exactly what I'm talking about. When the bus snake crawled from block to block, sometimes slower than walking that very same distance. For its size of only 1 million, Ottawa had an insane transit mode share of almost 15% in its heyday, with the majority of those people being federal workers commuting downtown from the outer suburbs. This led to some insane frequency on top of the connection routes, which ran express all the way to downtown, the backbone routes, like the 61, 62, and 63, as well as the 97, 99, and 95, had frequency as often as every 120 seconds in peak times. 120 seconds! For a bus! After trudging through the downtown core, it got back onto its own busway just short of LeBreton Flats, which we now call Pimsey. It's still LeBreton Flats in my heart. At this point, the route follows a disused rail line, before dumping buses onto the Kichizibi-Mikan, a waterfront parkway, soon meeting with Ottawa's second huge station, Lincoln Fields, which is sadly a shadow of its former self. The route then winds through some green space and under the 417 again, towards Baseline Station, which serves Algonquin College, which actually had a huge underground section added when it was originally built. They were thinking of the transitway's conversion to rail from the start. From there on, it followed Woodruff Avenue, a combination of bus lanes and dedicated busway, before crossing the via tracks and turning parallel with them, which makes for a great Fulmer shot. After another turn south and diving through the shopping centers, most 95s terminate here, at Barhaven Center, with every second one continuing as a local to Minto Rec Center. But all that yap just describes the route. Who was the 95 even for? Well, it was for everyone, from the people driving into Trim in the morning from outside the city, to the college kids picking it up at the handful of malls it served to go to class, to the federal workers in the big office buildings downtown, to the hordes of drunk people trying to make it back home after Canada Day. The 95, as well as its sister routes, were truly for everybody. Hang on, I've been speaking in the past tense. What happened to the 95? Well, to the detriment of suburbanites on r/Ottawa, the 95 got split in half in October of 2019, 1 month after the O-Train was opened on the land of what used to be the Central Busway. But 2 buses and a train will never ever match the ride, vibe, and clientele of the legendary 95.
Gonna take this bus train far. Hang on tight, you're in for a ride from one end of the city to the other side. We're going back and forth in time and space. But it's not so keep us all in place. And we're riding on the 95.
Oh, see, transfer.
Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end of the video. This was made for Classy Whale's One Line Wonders contest, and it took me about 2 weeks to make. Thank you to all the people who uploaded footage of the transitway before it closed. Any footage that wasn't my own will be linked down in the description. I have some more transit videos planned, so hit that button if you want to see more of them. Have a great rest of your day.
That when transit use and capacity had reached a certain stage, it would be easily converted to light rail. Therefore, the transitway was designed to be converted to light rail. It's all grade separated. Stations are built to the proper specifications.